Okay, I think this is for Jake. When do you go to Kapuka?
Well, for those that don't know, Kapuka is basic training for the army. So um, it's not set in stone yet. So I'm just doing my induction course and doing all the formalities before we go. But I'd say it'd be in the next 2 months. I reckon I'd be heading off, and then I'm away for 5 weeks. But still doesn't get in the way of fighting or anything. I mean, we're not fighting at the moment anyway, so it's a good time to do it. And all the training and stuff, I'm going to come back fit. So should be ready to get back into training with the boys at Resilience, and then hopefully we get some fights booked, I reckon.
What's the process to get signed to the UFC?
Depends how good you are at talking.
It varies person to person. Some people, depends on how good they talk, depends how good their manager talks. Some guys have to slog it out for, the real fighters, like guys like, Carl Potter, for example, smashed out how many fights against top level guys, and he got noticed through his fights and through his performance. He didn't talk. He didn't have anyone talk for him. It was shown all in his performance and his fights, and that's what got him in. So it just depends on the person, I think. I mean, for me, I had 10 amateur fights, 7 pro fights. I won them all. Went to the Ultimate Fighter, didn't win that one, and then had another fight when I got back from that, and then I got called up. So that was my sort of how I got in.
Yeah, I think the best way to get signed is to go through the hard route. There's lots of ways you can get signed. Like fucking CM Punk got signed. He never had an MMA fight in his life, but as we've said on 100 other shows, it's hard to get there, but it's harder to stay. So getting there is sort of the easy part.
I was so surprised because I watched a CM Punk fight recently, and obviously, surely he has some sort of background in some sort of martial art, right? But he just didn't.
Does he do jiu-jitsu?
He does. He did start jiu-jitsu, but it's not like he did jiu-jitsu since he was a kid or anything. I think he had 4 years of training.
Yeah. He just didn't look like he knew what he was doing at all.
We mentioned this with Carl Potter. It's not just that. I mean, he shouldn't be in there. It takes away the shine for fighters who work hard to get in there.
Yeah.
For me, I look at that and I'm like, all right, like that makes it feel like it means nothing.
Maybe it does the opposite, Jake.
From the outside in, people look at it and say, oh, it's easy to get in the UFC now, which is not. And then for other fighters who have to work hard to get in, it's like, why did I work so hard if these guys are just getting in so easily?
Yeah, true. But if you watch the fight and you've got half an idea, you'll see just how inexperienced he is, and that kind of makes you appreciate.
Exposed to the UFC. A quick message for anyone who wants to pad their fights and get their manager to get them in the UFC after they've had 2 or 3 fights. You're going to get exposed. You're not going to be able to go in there and do what you do to these bums who have losing records.
Yeah.
A bit of a rant, but what do you expect? You fight guys who, 2 wins, 10 losses. You're going to go into the UFC against absolute monsters. You want to get in the UFC, get smashed 2-3 fights in a row and get kicked out, and then you'll never get back in? Or do you want to take your time, get better, and when you get into the UFC, you're actually ready and you can win fights and do well? That should be everyone's goal, not just get in, have 2 fights and say, yeah, I was a UFC fighter for a minute.
Can you try to explain the difference between fighting a local guy and then fighting somebody in the UFC, no matter who it is? Just that, can you try to explain the difference in skill level?
Well, depends. It depends who you're talking about, because you can fight guys in the local scene who could probably beat some guys in the UFC. I mean, it's not that big of a leap from high level local guys, because they're the ones who get in the UFC. So at some point they're local, and then the next fight they're UFC, and it's not like you just automatically get better. So there is that. The guys who are new to the UFC, there is that sort of, I guess not local level. They're obviously better than that, but guys like Carl Potter, he's been UFC level for a long time, so you can't really. I know guys who fight locally.
Guys that went on to the UFC afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
In the local scene.
Yeah, so you can't say all UFC, everyone in the UFC would beat local guys. It's not the case at all.
I want to add on to that. The difference between UFC level and training at the gym is extremely fucking high. And if you've never fought in your life and you think that you can criticize UFC fighters and what you would do in that situation, I have no idea what you would actually be able to do in that situation.
So going from Hex to the Contender, did you notice a step up at all?
I had much harder fights on Hex than I have in the UFC.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I've gone through 5-round wars in Hex, like just fucking the most back and forth fights you've ever seen in your life. I was dominating, but like they were fucking hard fights. And then I get signed and then just start knocking everyone out in the first round.
Yeah.
I start finishing everyone. But no, like I think I've fought a few guys at the UFC level outside the UFC, like Stephen Warby's UFC wet level, Nathan Reddy's UFC level, Dufon Kim's UFC level. So I thought I had a good introduction prior getting in.
All right, next question. Favorite sub? The two black belts.
Everyone knows mine, Kimura.
Yeah, mine's triangle choke. So, but I've probably got more. What have I got most in the UFC? Rear naked chokes, I think.
I'm so bad at rear naked
But
chokes.
I mean, I get rear naked chokes a lot because I don't do jiu-jitsu. I wrestle and ground and pound, and when the submission presents itself, then I'll go for it. And a lot of the time, you're on someone's back and you're smashing them, they're just going to give you that rear naked choke. So I'd say that's probably the one I've gotten the most in the UFC, but I'll always love the triangle choke, I reckon. That's like the original jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
There's never any kind of leg attacks, are there?
Yeah, Pal Harris who made it work, but he's an asshole and he'd like try and reap your foot after you tap.
Mm.
Yeah, there's a few like heel hooks and stuff, but you're running the risk of getting your fucking head punched in if you're off for a leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you watch Dan Hooker fight, I think the guy's Ian Entwistle.
Oh, you were sitting him.
Yeah, it's like that was both mine and Dan's first fight in the UFC in Auckland. And the guy was just attacking his heel the whole time. And Dan's just sitting there having a field day, elbowing this guy. And he chopped him up like mincemeat. And then that was the end of it. And he finished it from that position, from like a 50-50. And the ref ended up stopping it. And Dan was just slicing him. And with in jiu-jitsu comps, the adrenaline's not the same. Like I've had a guy, he was at Andrew Holbrook. He was trying to go for toe holds and heel hooks. And I was looking at my own foot thinking it's going to snap, but I couldn't feel a thing. The adrenaline's so high, it's very hard to land a leg lock and get a tap from it.
There's a big difference between a jiu-jitsu comp and an MMA fight.
I tapped once, and then I didn't care about the loss. I cared about tapping out. I was disgusted with it. So
yeah, I was like that. I was like that after Misha.
And you think back, you're like, maybe he was going to let go in 2 seconds. I should have held on longer.
Yeah.
You never know. Some people think they don't have the choke, and just you're about to tap, they might let up a little bit. So I have that in my mind now. So that's why I'll just hold on. What's the worst going to happen? You have a snooze. And I'll tell you what, getting choked out, you wake up, you feel like you've had the best sleep of your life.
You know, I've never been choked out. I've touched wood. I've never been choked out. I've never been knocked out. Yeah.
Really? You've never been knocked out at all?
Let's keep it that way.
Touch wood.
I got
knocked out when I was a kid. I fell off the playground, fucking woke up, and I was,
Yeah, I've never been knocked out. I got TKO'd in one fight, but I mean, I was completely coherent. I couldn't move from the position.
Is that Kevin Lee?
That was Kevin Lee, yeah. I didn't even have a scratch from that, to be honest. But I was in advanced position, so fair enough. But I've never been clean knocked out before. People
think it's your chin, but it's actually like like your neck, your shoulders that hold your chin and stop it rattling. It's not like having a good chin isn't your chin. It's your fucking muscles around and your jaw muscles and your fucking shoulder muscles holding your chin still.
Too much of these ones.
Oh, you're good at that, aren't you, Jakey?
I'm talking about the head weight. What are you talking about? Next question.
Next question. Next question is we're done. That's all the questions.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, man.
We'll have to do part 1 and 2 for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have a field day editing this one.
1, 2, and 3, I reckon.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right, cheers, boys. Till the next time.
Well done, guys. See you next time.
Thanks a lot.